to gain access. A lot of people have the definition of poverty as just, you know, well, these people are poor because they have no money. Well, that's not always the case, and that's not a full and precise definition of what poverty is. It has something to do with not having access to funds or money or wealth, but even more so, it has something to do with the lack of access to resources.
Okay, great point. Toni Morrison says, she points out that African Americans are inside the American culture and are not alienated. They're not aliens, but yet we are estranged from the domain of white power and privilege. Who wants to take that one? Who wants to expound on what Toni Morrison has said? Toni Morrison has pointed out that African Americans remain inside American culture, in terms of all of the contributions we've made. We don't have to go into it right now, but we know what we're talking about. But yet we remain estranged to the domain of white power and privilege. This is her observation.
You know, it's like the slave that was in the slave master's mansion. He had all kinds of access, but he had no power to do anything about the access. And if he tried to get access to it in any kind of aggressive way, he would put back in his place. And that's what it is. That's how it is today. You know, black people are not going to be allowed to. Like when the man who, what's his name, that tried to buy NBC, and now they got a barrage of.
I know what you're talking about. I can't call the guy's name right now.
Yeah, he
the man.
Yeah, what he's saying now, he's raped all these different women.
Oh, Cosby.
Yeah, Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah, and then after he made that offer to buy NBC, his son came up murdered.
Right.
But anybody that tries to rise to the top, that's how they take them down, no matter who they are.
And that is interesting because we see all of these other accusations arising.
Even Oprah can't even come out and be black. She got to be somewhere in between so she don't piss off her advertisers and then have people coming after her to take away her wealth.
She has to be careful.
Yes.
She has to tip light and walk slow.
Yes.
This is what she doesn't trip and break her ankle.
Yes.
But a couple more points. We're down to 5 minutes. Let's move with quickness. I'm going to read 2 points and then we'll take it. The Mexicans did not want African American musicians to play at their dances. They did not want the African Americans to mix with their women. And we see this across the board with white men and all that. And then this last point, to Texas, there's a Texas sheriff who says race mixing was the menace to the purity of the Nordics. Jeffrey, Lonnie, Omar. And let's close out. Let's finish up strong. We have 4 minutes.
Well, all of that is just a result of what we're living through. We live in a you know, people get tired of hearing this, but we live in a racist society, and our minds and our decisions, consciously or unconsciously, some of our decisions are made with that in our minds. And for Mexicans, you know, to have certain negative feelings towards Africans or African Americans, which there are some. I'm not going to just make a blanket statement to say, well, all Mexicans.
There are some, but not all.
Some, but not all. But those who do, I would just like to let you know, hey, study the history.
Yes.
You know, study books like Ivan Van Sertima. They came before Columbus, who talk about the Olmecs, where the people who set up even the civilizations in Mexico were from African descent. So we are all a part of the same team, and we should work together and fight this thing called racism, white supremacy together.
Right, so we speak in general terms, well, in specific terms. And when we speak in general terms, we go from general to specific terms. So we're not saying all and every or any particular thing. But Lonnie, Jeffrey has said something about taking action. And remember the question about the Mexicans demanding a certain status?
Sir.
And you see down here where they are taking charge and getting things done. Go ahead.
The reason why, and this is between them and us, is they're all organized.
Okay.
See,
Organized.
We don't have that type of organization to get the power, because that's where the power is within our organizations. The organizations represent vast of us, not just, you know, individual. And see, we don't have those, I'm not gonna say we don't have any, but it's not many of us that is willing to fight for us. The masses of us put the mass of the people over their own personal whatever.
Oh, great point.
And
Individualism, I hear you speaking about.
Exactly. And they look
Petty differences.
Yes, the petty difference, get that out the way and fight to death for the whole, for the group.
Okay.
You know, and not scared to sacrifice what they have for the masses of us, because, you know, once you do that, then, you know, you're pretty much selling us out, you know, for your own personal goods. But we don't have that, and it seems that the Mexicans or other ethnic groups, they will put their petty differences aside to get the whole masses, you know, to get that done, and we're not doing that.
I hear you saying they will generate a sense of social cohesion.
Yes, they will.
Brother Omar, and then Yolanda.
You know, the Mexicans didn't go through the same kind of social chattel slavery that we went through.
Another great point.
And we went through, they took everything from us, including our trust and love for one another.
Okay.
So when they came back across the border, they still had their history, their culture intact. They still had a love for their own, you know, everything that about them. They loved it. We hate everything about us. And until we can get the brainwash that's still in place, and the brain dead, and get them back to life again, we're going to continue to suffer like we've been suffering.
Okay, and so going forward, we're going to critique the social behavior of African Americans. In fact, I'm thinking about developing a curriculum called African American Behavior, and really we have to be careful with that one. Come on, Jeffrey.
I just wanted to kind of go.
Omar's laughing.
Just
Go ahead.
get back in line with what both Brother Lonnie and Brother Baruti stated. But I also want to add something. I came across yesterday, Brother Lonnie. I was hoping you was going to say it, but Brother Kwame Ture made a statement last night that just rung in my ears all night long.
Okay.
Brother Kwame Ture says, we are not going to gain anything of benefit without bloodshed. And that's how real the situation is.
Okay.
Come
Come on, Lonnie.
Like you said,
We're about out of time. Let's speed.
It's nothing that we have accomplished without the bloodshed. It's nothing.
Okay.
Nothing here. So we understand that how important our struggle is.
Okay.
We need to understand how closely we need to stay together.
Okay.
You know?
And, right. And speaking of Kwame Ture, are you saying that the people must be organized? That's a famous statement from Brother Kwame Ture. And we're right here, we're right on the line, Omar. You want to try to get one in?
Yes,
Go ahead.
you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says you should study the white man because he is successful and he makes no excuses for his failures. His history is written in blood.
Okay.
Since he's been here, he's been in war.
Okay.
And we're in the year 2015, he's still fighting wars on several fronts. We are afraid to live, and we're also afraid to die. We got to come out of that field.
That reminds
That's what we got to do.
It reminds me of Du Bois, the souls of black folk, ripped asunder. One part of your soul and consciousness pulling one way, the other part of your soul and consciousness pulling the other way. But I want to announce that there is a $3,000 reward for any and all information for the capture and apprehension of the killer murderer of Deborah Lynn Redd. You may go to Facebook, you may go to the Love Power page Facebook for more information. You may contact Wallace Redd, or you may contact Buddy Chapman at Crime Stoppers. $3,000 on the board for bringing the murderer and killer in. Let's see who was the last person. Jeffrey, you go.
Oh, and
Keep talking. I haven't heard the Love Power song yet.
just like Brother Kwame Ture was saying, we have to be organized. Just dealing with this whole subject of change. That's what we're gonna have to change too. We got to stop winging it, and we got to start working together, put plans down on paper, and put those plans into action. It's our lack of organization and our lack of community and unity one with another that's keeping us from gaining anything worthwhile.
Okay.
That's the change that I'm referring to, the change of us working together one with another. Despite our many differences, because we have many differences ideologically, theologically, economically, educational levels, wealth levels. There are a lot of differences that we have amongst ourselves, but we have got to put those differences aside to organize something that's going to benefit us as a whole.
So did Malcolm say put your religion on the shelf?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
He's talking about a psychic change, Lonnie.
Yeah, I think we need to quit being complacent. Like, you know, people feel like, you know, from what I heard, you know, it's no gray area. It's no no lukewarm when it deals with this situation. You're either going to be for your people or you're going to be against your people. And if you're not doing anything for your people, you're against your people.
Okay.
And we have to change that. We have to, keep making, you know, the levels of consciousness with our people. We have to make it, you know, repeatedly bring it up.
Continue to make strides.
Continue to, you know,
move forward.
All the time.
Aggressive.
But we need to understand though, this is a war, and we need to understand, like you said, we need to study our enemy because they studying us. They know everything about us. And until we get to the point where we're gonna fight them on the strategic level that we need to.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Omar, one quick last 30 seconds.
You know, when you look at the history, you have to understand that there are some of us that are not going to make it.
Okay.
When Pharaoh took the children of Israel into the promised land, some of them wanted to go back to be with Pharaoh.
True.
And he had them to march around in the wilderness for 40 years till they died off.
Okay.
And the children inherited the promise.
Okay. And we see this throughout history. Thank you for coming. This great panel. We thank Brother Isaac Woodridge on keyboards. The engineer, I'm sorry. Lonnie Simmons, Jeffrey Steele, Omar Baruti, and me, Wallace Redd, your humble host, your moderator. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. See you next week. All right. All right.
Got to beat this dog.